Okay, so the next jam that I did was the UAT Greenlight Jam 2018. So every year, UAT also does a jam for the Greenlight project, in which students can create projects that will get into the game studio that the school has and will be worked on by a bunch of students. But I didn't want this to be worked on students. I was just basically participating because it's a game jam and game jams are fun. And also, there's prizes, and I want to win prizes. So for this game jam, the theme was Boundless, and I decided to participate solo. So this happened in July of 2018. I was 20 years old, almost 21, and I had become much more confident in my game development ability at this point. So when the theme Boundless came, I was not sure what I wanted to make, but it pretty quickly decided on making an endless dungeon crawler, sort of roguelike type of game, because I've always enjoyed those, and it was just, it wouldn't leave my head, so I decided to make this twin stick shooter style endless dungeon. So one quirk about this game is that it only plays with a controller. So I've gone and I've grabbed my Xbox 360 controller and I've plugged it in, and we're gonna play Boundless Dungeon. So one thing in this game is it's actually got music that I'm super happy with still. I'm actually gonna full screen this game because I'm gonna be in it for a minute. Unlike the other games, I feel like I'm gonna play this one. So in this game, when you hit begin, it generates a random world, and my left thumbstick isn't working. So I may have forgotten to mention that for the to show off to one of my professors the game, when I didn't have a controller on hand, I hacked in some PC controls. So WASD were working and not the left thumbstick. So let me try this again. This is the stable build of the game, so left thumbstick should move me around. Right thumbstick I can look around. This allows me to strafe and look backwards and everything like that. So randomly, what the one thing I've actually really loved about this game is that, first of all, the bottom left and bottom right, you can see the UI is slightly broken. With resolutions, it doesn't scale properly sometimes, but that's fine. All I was saying is that in this game you have there's 3 different music tracks that I'm very, very happy with still. And the music tracks will randomly select, but they will not play one after the other. They'll switch off and sort of find the right time to play. So in this game, it'll randomly generate a dungeon, and there will be enemies and things to do, like destroy the walls. You've got different magic spells like the magic missile and the fireball. The fireball takes way more mana, but does a lot more damage. And then you have your LB and LT, which are your defensive spells like the heal and the shield. So when you go in here, also you have the ability to dodge with B. So once you kill things, you get XP, and eventually you have the ability to level up. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to fight everything that exists in the game. For example, these boys. So obviously when you have very little mana, this game can be quite difficult. There's also chests, which if you open up, they'll give you gold. Sometimes. Actually, that's all they drop. They should be able to drop health, but I never added that as a thing. So usually they just drop out gold, you pick it up. There's also these bad dudes that shoot magic at you. And, whoa, God. So actually, if you look up at the top left, you may notice that I have leveled up. Now I have the ability to upgrade one of my 3 stats, but unfortunately I didn't balance this game very well, so magic is completely overpowered. so my bad. The game actually crashed, which is interesting because the entire time I had people testing this game, including the massive amount of time that I spent playing it, I only ever encountered one crash, and it was actually, unfortunately, when I was showing the game to one of the judges of the event. He managed to crash it. He was the first person to do it after me spending hours and hours testing the game. But yeah, let me get back into where I was at. What I was saying was that magic in this game is really overpowered to level up, and the reason for that is because not only does it increase your capacity for magic, it also increases the speed at which your mana regenerates. So we'll get into that in a second, but what I do want to mention as well is the health and the amount of the health and the damage that the enemies do scales every level. So there is benefits to leveling stuff like your health because you're going to survive a lot longer. You're going to take less damage. So I forgot I should be healing because that's a thing that I can do. Oh, and this guy right here. Oh, I pissed him off. That's not good. So the guys in the brown shirts with the white eyes are actually friendly. What they are is they're merchants who will trade you gold for XP. And if you piss them off, they're actually very strong, much stronger than the regular enemies. But let's see. I have the ability to level up because I've leveled up to 2. So, well, once I get to a safe place here, I'm actually going to level up magic. I should just do it right now. So level up magic. So now my magic is going to regenerate faster. And I'm going to actually talk to this merchant guy. So one of the main glitches, and one of the few glitches in this game that is something that happens all the time, is that AI will spawn stuck inside walls. So that guy on the far left is actually spawned underneath some rocks, which is unfortunate for him. Oh my god, these mechanics, man. The merchants are so freaking strong, and I'm so bad at aiming. I used to be really good at this game. Okay, cool. So, this is a merchant who's not pissed off at me. I'm going to trade with him. Oh god, I missed all my shots. Okay, so I've leveled up again. I'm actually going to level up magic again, because I can just spam heal. So if I talk to this merchant, he'll actually trade 50 gold for 100 XP, which is totally worth it, because the XP will help you level up and you'll be able to kill stuff better. There's more gold. Alright, so once I've got this massive magic pool, see if I can find the exit, because I've actually not really demonstrated the main point of the game, which is to get as deep as you can. So if I go on over here, I will eventually at some point find the way out. It's randomly generated as to where it is, so I really have no idea. I'm gonna break through the wooden walls you can break through. So there right there is the exit. Also, I should probably mention, because I didn't before, that the little rats, well, they're supposed to be rats. They don't really look like it, though, do they? I'm not a very good artist, so those are one of the few sprites in the game that look pretty bad. The characters are really simple, so they kind of hold up a little bit, and the lighting really carries the game for the most part, but yeah, those rats do not look good. Alright, so this guy's going to sell me some XP, and I'm going to head down to floor 2. So every floor gets larger. It'll play a different track for you in the music. Ooh. So one strat that's good is usually putting on a shield and then just bum rushing them so you don't have to aim. The shield is super OP. Healing is also really good. This is why having so high magic is much more important than having a higher health. But the dash is actually not terrible either if you dash a lot, because you're invulnerable while dashing, and upgrading your stamina will make your stamina regenerate faster and will make you dash longer. So you can basically just outrun all your enemies. It'll also increase your default movement speed, which is helpful because the rats, every level, the rats move faster. So if you don't upgrade your stamina at all, the rats will basically start destroying you on the later levels because you can't outrun them. I spend all my gold on XP when I can. And I think basically you've gotten the most you can see out of this game already. The lighting is pretty much the coolest part of it. The game is pretty fun. I've actually spent a lot of time playing this because I was just having fun. I mean, it's a good game. There's different tier chests, I should mention. That's a silver tier or like I think this might be a default chest, and then there's like a gold and a silver. I think that's a default like not good chest. Let's see. I'm gonna heal up. Yeah, so these rooms are actually sort of interesting because I just had them like drop in randomly on the stage and then break a couple of walls. But then the fun thing is the AI will also break the walls, and so will you just by shooting them up. So just add some more fun stuff into the game. So there's a merchant. I've pissed off the merchant. I'm dumb. But the strategy of just shielding and spamming him just absolutely shreks him. Let's see, there's the exit. I can actually head down to the next floor if I want to, but I want to find a merchant and see if I can upgrade my stuff. Maybe. Hello, merchant. Yeah, so upgraded as much as I can, I think. Oh yeah, I can upgrade one more time. I just get that. And head down to floor 3. But yes, at this point you've basically seen... Oh. My favorite music track. So here, up here is an example of a gold chest. Sorry for that silence, I was just enjoying the music. I'm actually such a fan of the music I created for this game. I had to be awake for 40 hours before I started making the music, and it just absolutely... It's probably the only music that I've made that I'm still happy with. But this is a gold chest, it'll drop bigger loot. 55 gold, that's pretty good. But from here on out, the game's going to start to look pretty similar. The loot's going to get better, the levels are going to get bigger, the enemies are going to get stronger. But for the most part, everything is the same. And I think that's the main flaw of this game, is that after a while it becomes very samey. But for what it is, I'm still very, very, very happy with this game. I think it's one of the most solid things I've ever made, and the fact that I did it by myself is it just makes me more happy. I think the art still surprisingly holds up, even though I'm an absolutely awful artist. I think that I managed to make everything in such a simple art style that it actually still looks okay today. The generation, even though it causes some occasional glitches, is still good. The art in the game, the music in the game is still, like I said, some of my favorite stuff that I've made. And yeah, the game in general is just the concept that I like. You know, I just like these random generation type of dungeon crawler games. I like finding gold, I like leveling up, and it was just a good project. And then after you die, it'll give you all your stats. Send you back to the main menu. So let's take a dive into the source code of this game, because it is a bit interesting. I think that it's very spaghetti, if I remember correctly. Just like I say with absolutely every game jam. I was just so rushed that everything is just like thrown together. Like, it's actually not terrible, though. I did a couple of things good in this, like using generic functions such as cast spell. Actually, I just lied, because one of them is cast spell enemy. Oh, wait, no, but no. Yup. It literally has two different functions. Why? Oh, I don't know. I did try to use some generic things. The objects for the fireball and the magic missile can be reused by players and AIs. The AI pathfinding is actually the built-in game maker pathfinding, so it's not good, but it does the job. It was just there to be quick. The lighting is actually a smooth lighting engine that I downloaded for Game Maker and customized for this game. So obviously it's not something I created myself, but it didn't look anything like what it looks like in this game until I messed with it a ton. But I am happy with the way it turned out eventually, and I think it's definitely something that carried my game. The game itself is okay, but without the lighting, it's kind of sad. My art is not that good. So if we take a look at some of my art in the game, you'll see actually an unused scroll. So one of the ideas was going to be that you could swap out spells. So you have 4 spell slots in the game, your 2 defensive spells, your 2 offensive spells. And the idea was that you could find scrolls and you could switch them out for your current spells. I still think that's an interesting mechanic if I ever were to add anything to this game. You have your coin piles. These are some of the not good looking sprites, but if you ever get a massive coin pile, it looks like that. Pretty garbage. I'm not a very amazing artist. You got the fireball, which is literally just an orange ball. You get this missile, which is a blue one, a blue egg. The shield is actually pretty funny because I just outlined the player and then made like a little pulsing blue thing. The particle effects are just like little specks, little pixels of that color that fly out and stuff. Then when it comes to the player is pretty simple. It's literally just this character, which I drew quite a while ago in a notebook, and I've been wanting to use in a game for a while, so this game was the right opportunity. And even though it's simple, it did the job. The NPCs are the same, the enemies are the same. Here's the tiny little rat. Looks nothing like a rat, because I can't draw. But there you go. You have the icons, so stuff like the fireball icon isn't great, but I think for the fact that I'm not an artist, I'm actually still, like, this one I think is cool. Like, that's just a cool little effect. I actually have no idea how I did this, to be honest. I must have just drawn the outline and then, like, painted it in and specs. I legitimately don't remember how I drew some of this stuff. The shield is probably one of the weaker looking icons in the game, but still looks pretty cool. And then the healing icon looks pretty cool as well. Just glows. And then also, actually, one of my favorite little effects in the game is the healing in-game. And what that is just a particle effect. It's the heal particle effect right here, which is just a little pulsing green sprite moving up and then moving to the left and right based on a sine wave. So when you create a whole bunch of those, it looks like a little helix creating around you, and it was just a cool effect for healing. As for the coins, the coins in game have a little friction thing, so that when you open a chest, it'll fling out the coin and the coin will slow down and stop in front of you. That's just a nice little effect that I enjoyed. The chest is actually a sprite that I'm still super happy with, because I'm like, I don't know, it's just a sort of progression to me as an artist, learning to draw stuff like this that I've never drawn before, and thinking that they actually end up looking okay. So that's cool. And then actually, this is also another one that I'm super happy with, but this is the level up system. You press up to level up one thing, you press right to level up another thing, and you press down to level up another thing. And it's just a cool little way to sort of show the player what they need to press to do something. The exit is one of the worst looking sprites in the game. This is supposed to be a downward staircase. It doesn't really look like that, but, you know, whatever. It gets the job done. I think that's mostly it for the sprites. There's not much else in the game, except the logo, which I just very quickly made in Photoshop. Where is it? It might be a background. There it is. So this is the title card that I made in Photoshop. Not particularly great, not terrible. It just shows up on the main menu. And then there's the oh yeah. So the lantern right here was definitely a thing. It's got this weird empty area because originally it was like a full-on lantern, but it looked bad, so I just deleted the whole thing and left the little lights there. And it just pulses a little bit. But yeah, that's it for this game, really. For the most part, like I didn't feel like it was too difficult to program, uh, because it was just sort of an adventure. Like it was like, ooh, I want to make a twin stick shooter, so I already know how to make controllers work, and I've already done this roguelike system where, you know, you have the spells and stuff, but I've never done. It wasn't similar to this at all. So the only challenge was like making random generation and working on the enemy AI and making them fight you, and then having like level progression and XP and gold and stuff, and throwing that stuff in, and then making the music and then how the music works. But for the most part, like I think like the generate room function is interesting because what it does is it goes. Let's see. Oh yeah, so this is actually not like a generate level. This is generate one of the wooden rooms that spawns throughout the map. So it just goes, all right, well, wherever we are, just create some walls, cut a couple holes in them, just randomly destroy a couple of them, and then put some lanterns in the room. So every room has 4 lanterns. So that's something that happens. It also will randomly spawn like rock falls that will crush anything underneath them, which is the generate rocks right here. They drop down and just destroy anything in their way once they're generated. And that all happens in the actual room creation code. This is like the whole entire game right here, basically. It just generates the level and everything like that. Every level will have more NPCs and more enemies and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think the challenge in this game was more of art and less of programming, and I think at this point I had become a much better programmer since the previous jam, and I'd learned a lot already. And so this is still my favorite project that I've worked on to date, and I think it's the most solid of any of the game jams that I've done. And the fact that I did it solo just meant even more to me. And actually, to add on to all the top of what I'm talking about right now, this ended up being the best overall game prize winner for the game jam, and that was pretty awesome.